The advent of mobile-based technology over the last 5 to 10 years has really resulted in a revolution in terms of financial inclusion, and that's really been the ability to bring connectivity to a wider audience, particularly in the emerging markets.
Financial inclusion has been dramatically revolutionized thanks to the internet, as illustrated in Africa by the fact that everyone's now connected wirelessly to a mobile network when they had no infrastructure there before.
Today, there are only 2.2 billion bank people in the world, but around 5 billion mobile phones, which means there are a much larger number of people that can be reached through mobile technology than through bank branches or ATMs.
Mobility has a paradigm where you have to interact and cooperate with different players in an open ecosystem. That means adding core competences to one another. The same way you have a network, an interbank network, it is the banks themselves, it is the device manufacturers, it is part of the devices, the application developers, and naturally the networks. All of these can transact because suddenly you have the reach directly to the consumer.
It's such a complex ecosystem. It's banks, mobile operators, platform providers, handset manufacturers, infrastructure suppliers, SIM card manufacturers. And the more that these different parties can collaborate and work together, the better the solutions are going to be.
Telecom operators have to cooperate with each other and also with the banking community. And all sides have to agree on what business models to adopt, how to share revenues, and how to acquire and retain customers.
Creating a collaborative among the vendor community, the software developers, the financial institutions, and by the way, the policy community, which is vital, is extremely important. The ecosystem won't work unless those players are sitting at the table.
We would all like to see joined up operations between the manufacturers, the handset providers, the technology companies, the mobile networks and the banks. It will never happen because partnerships very rarely will last between two companies, let alone many. So instead it'll be marriages of convenience.
I really do not think that these type of mobile banking innovations are going to be led by the first world countries. In fact, I believe that the third world countries are going to be way ahead of the game in this respect. And we'll be able to take best practices from third world countries and apply them to first world countries.
Within the developed world, sure, you got a choice between your ATM, you got your PC at home, you got the next bank branch at any corner, and you can connect from one bank to the other. So it's more a convenience factor. And we need to think about mobile and money and mobile payments as a value to the consumer.
These services have not become mass market in Europe or the United States. Say that it's likely to be at least 2015 before we see the adoption of mass market services in the developed world. So by then, I expect services to be very well established in places like Africa and India.
Security is, of course, at the heart of what SWIFT is doing. But in this case, I think that the biggest threat is the fact that many players in this space are just playing a game of grabbing land, of grabbing market share in a specific country, with the result that we have a highly fragmented landscape which offers no interoperability at all, and it is that will make or break the success of mobile payments.
The biggest threat right now to mobile is mobile malware. We'll see that being a bit of a wild west, a bit like the internet was a decade ago, but it will get locked down and it will get sorted out.
Unlike a number of commentators in the market who claim that fraud and financial crime is going to be the biggest challenge to ubiquitous adoption of mobile payment systems, we think it's more about interoperability between differing systems. And what do we mean by that? We mean that people who run different types of systems around the world need to be able to talk to each other so that it creates a seamless customer proposition. And we think that's probably the single biggest challenge that the industry is going to face.